Yo, my friends, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming and Tech Reviews, and today I wanted to, I've been using the current generation GPUs from Nvidia, AMD, and Intel for the past, gosh, it's been a while now, pretty much for this whole year, and I wanted to give you guys an honest assessment of how I'm feeling about all of these different architectures. We have Nvidia. This is the 5060 Ti. We're actually talking about the 60 class right now. Well, I don't know. How would you rate the Intel Arc B580? Is that essentially in the 60 class range just because the performance and stuff is quite similar to that? And then we also have the AMD Radeon 9060 XT. Unfortunately, it's got like this little slant, so I can't like set it up like that to make it all cool. So we got this one here kind of sitting sideways. And so let's talk about this generation now. So we're a little over 6 months into this. Obviously, I started off with the 5070 Ti and the 9070 XT. Those were the first ones that I was able to get this generation. I haven't decided to go any higher in the Nvidia stack. I just kind of feel like that is not really necessary this generation, to be completely fair. And over the last couple of months, I've pretty much been testing the 60 class cards. That's kind of where I've been for the last couple of months, is, you know, the Nvidia 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte, obviously the B580 12 gigabyte, and then the 16 gigabyte 9060 XT that XFX was nice enough to send out to me for review. I did buy these ones here with my own money, but it is nice, you know, having AMD, you know, be able to ship me out some cards for review and stuff. That was awesome. Very, very grateful for that. So I'm just going to tell you this right now. My pick, it's kind of been my pick since I've switched to AMD, is I just like the AMD platform a lot more. Like, yeah, Nvidia's got some cool stuff and everything, but at the end of the day, it really just boils down to the overall experience that I feel I get from the AMD. So that's kind of my pick. And plus, if you look at the 9060 XT versus like 5060 Ti or even the Arc B580, this here is pretty much the best bang for your buck, to be completely honest with you. I mean, everybody's pretty much saying it because it's true. It really just bang for buck, AMD Radeon with FSR4, with frame generation, with all of the bells and whistles that you know AMD actually has at their disposal this generation. It's really hard to recommend anything other than AMD at this point. Like, it really just doesn't make sense to pay an extra $100 for essentially the same product for more games having, you know, DLSS4 support. I just don't know. It's so hard. It really is, guys, these days, because you want to help your community find a good price. Like, you want to help your community find, you know, a good price, help them find a good product, help them save a little bit of money. The extra $100 that you would be paying for something like this, you could easily put that into more storage. You could easily upgrade your CPU a little more. To me, buying an Nvidia product over an AMD product with just how close they are, and just like, the thing is if you go out, say you go out and you buy your 5060 Ti, okay, you got your 16 gigabyte GPU, obviously you'll have use for, I mean, you'll have everything. Would you find happiness with this card? Absolutely. Would it pay for itself over gaming time? Absolutely, man. Like this card 100% will pay for itself. Is it too much to ask for the extra $100 for an Nvidia product? If you're in seclusion, okay, this is the thing. If you're in seclusion and this is your product and this is what you buy, you are going to find happiness with this GPU. You're going to enjoy playing your games on it. You're going to have a lot of fun. Very rarely are you going to run into an issue to where it's like, okay, then I can't play a game or something like that. Like, 16 gigabyte 60 class cards are incredible. They absolutely perform way better than than any 60 class card has ever performed before. And the newer features with the AI and all of that stuff, it just makes them better. So yeah, at the end of the day, if you pay the money for the Nvidia product, like you're eventually going to spend enough time gaming on that Nvidia product to where it will in fact pay for itself. It will be worth the money. You won't regret it later down the road. especially if like this, you're going to get a good enough experience because they're so similar. Okay. They're so similar that if you bought the Nvidia product, like you're not going to skip a beat. You're going to be fine. Like you will eventually get to the point where you have paid for it. But what if I told you that getting the AMD Radeon 9060 XT, saving that extra $100, and you put that towards your CPU, like say you're buying your CPU and your GPU at the exact same time. If you go with the XFX 9060 XT, the money that you're saving off of getting the 5060 Ti would literally get you a freaking X3D chip. Like you could get a 7800 X3D and this for the same price that you would be getting something like a 7700X or something to be putting in your system. So you would therefore be getting a top-end CPU with your GPU, giving you a significantly better overall build. Like your build quality would just be so much higher. For Intel, it's really hard to recommend an Intel Arc B580. Okay, like the both of these cards outperform it easily outperform it. Both of those do cost more money than the Intel Arc B580, but the longevity that everybody keeps telling me that's what everybody buys for is longevity. The longevity that you're going to get out of those two cards over the Intel Arc B580 legitimately just makes this kind of a, I mean, like this is going to last a while. Like now knowing what I know about PC gaming and just being able to like adjust settings and do things a little differently, it really just kind of puts like the B580 in a spot where it just kind of puts it in a spot where like, yeah, you would absolutely be happy with this for the most part. You'd be able to play, you'd be able to do a lot of the stuff that you'd want to do on it for real. But at the end of the day, like, would it really, like, are you going to be able to, I mean, yeah, obviously you'd be able to get a significantly better CPU with that as well. Maybe put even more money into like storage or something else. So like getting a card like the Intel Arc B580 would give you a good enough gaming experience that I think most people could get by on, because I'm able to play a lot of newer games on this, no problem, especially at like 1080p, 1440p. It usually does pretty good, and it gives you a good enough performance to where you can do it. And so I guess at the end of the day, this GPU right here would give you the ability to put more into a CPU, put more into a more into like storage or cooling or power supply or something like that. It would give you the ability to really like bulk up the base of your system so that you could get more frames and have a better running, more efficient system. Just at the cost of that extra power that would come with something like the 9060 XT or the 5060 Ti. It is a really strange world that we live in. All of these GPUs perform well. All of them get the job done. Every single one of these have delivered an experience that I could literally play and find happiness with. I mean, I was on a 50-50 yesterday playing freaking playing Mafia and Battlefield 6, and I'm like, gosh dang, dude, like both of these are playable experiences. They look good. I'm having fun. They're worth using for that experience. Like they are fun to actually use. And so when you get into the 16 gigabyte 60 class cards this generation, I was talking to somebody today. We went to our family reunion, you know, and you get the cousins there and stuff. And I was talking to one of them, and he's still rocking a 5600 XT. And he saw like the Radeon shirt because I was wearing a Radeon shirt, and he's like, "Where'd you get the Radeon shirt?" And I was like, "Oh, somebody from the community, got it for me and stuff." And AMD's been sending me out GPUs. I was testing the 9060 XT, and he's like, "Oh, good. How is that card?" And I was like, "Man, like it is really good. Like if you went from a 5600 XT to the 9060 XT, like that is going to be such a massive boost to the overall experience." And like, it's funny when you actually meet people in the world that use a 60 class card and you start talking to them, because you gain a lot of insight into how this class of card is actually used. And we're talking about it, and we're talking about like some of the games that you like to play and stuff on there. And I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at, like most of the time, gamers are, I look at myself as kind of an anomaly, to be completely honest with you. Like, I'm kind of an anomaly in gaming. I like to play as many different types of games as I can. I like to see new things. I like to see new worlds. I like to experience the newest and greatest stuff when it comes out. But I've noticed that a lot of gamers do not carry that same sentiment. They want to play the game that they like, or the few games that they like, and they usually will try to maximize. And at least this is what I gained from this conversation today, is they just want to know that the card they're getting is good. Most 60 class buyers don't necessarily care much about it because that is their price bracket. And that's what he was saying. It's like, that is my price range. And I'm like, okay, so like technically it doesn't really matter, what they're getting on top of it. It's just like, that is the cards that they're set at. They're like, okay, this is my price bracket. And I think most people that buy the 60 class cards just want to be told that, yeah, your card is good, or look what it can do, or see this, or they just want to see people talking nice about it. Because we were talking about like the 8 and 16 gigs and stuff like that, and he's like, dude, my card's a 6 gigabyte. And I'm like, and I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I've been going through these games, and I've been looking at like the required specs and all of this kind of stuff. And you got developers that are still literally supporting like 8 gigabyte. And then I started telling them about my experience with testing Unreal Engine 5 and some of these other games at low settings. And I'm like, dude, I was checking out these settings, and they're in a low settings, and I'm comparing these to last generation games with maxed out settings. And I'm like, dude, the similarities are very, very close. Like, I mean, it's like they both look really good. And so when I think about what it means to game on a 60 class card, to me, that's the mainstream. And like, I've been sitting here, like, I've been shaking my head. I'm like, why isn't anybody watching these 60 class card content like they do the 9070 XT or some of these other levels? And it's like, because most people don't care when it gets to this point. Like, they're like, that is my budget. Okay, I've got a 5600 XT. It's starting to, like, I want to upgrade. Like, I want to upgrade. That's my price bracket, is a 9060 XT. And so when you're at that point where your GPU is like a 5600 XT, you got 6 gigs of VRAM, you're playing the games that you want to play, and then you upgrade. And now you're like, oh my gosh, dude, I got a 9060 XT. I got 10 extra gigs of VRAM. I have significantly more freaking power, rasterized power. I get ray tracing now. I've got FSR. I've got frame generation. I've got the whole 9 yards. Going from a GPU like a 5600 XT up to a 9060 XT or 5060 XT or 5060 Ti or even an Intel Arc B580 over a 5600 XT, gaining 6 more gigs of VRAM, and if you're playing the type of games that you're playing already, and you're not necessarily looking for a whole bunch of new stuff or anything else, you're like, oh my gosh, man, like this is this is exciting, guys. Like, this is exciting to find people like that in like the real world and talk to them, you know, and kind of get like their insight on what they should do. And I'm gonna tell you guys the same thing I told him. Okay, I'm like, all right, you got a 6 gigabyte GPU. The best bang for your buck right now. And I was telling him, I was like, dude, on this 9060 XT, I'm running 1080p, 1440p, and 4K on select games, and they are playable. Like, you're getting a good experience. Like, you're getting a nice frame rate. I think he said he had a 1600X CPU too, and I told him, I was like, you should probably upgrade, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I was like, yeah, you should probably get the 9060 XT. You're gonna struggle a little bit using you might struggle a little bit with the 5060 Ti, but yeah, get a 9060 XT and use that, and you'll man, you're gonna like, I just couldn't imagine. I can't imagine just how incredible the uplift of that experience would be. I'm trying to get a hold of a 4060 Ti so that I could test that card. Might just borrow that from my son-in-law or something. But yeah, guys, I look at the new generation of GPUs, these 60 class cards. And I've said this before in a few other videos. I'm like, look, guys, a lot of us are out there buying higher end cards. A lot of us are, you know, we're just living in like this like a revolving door when it comes to this stuff. And I do think it is very important, especially for some of us, to go down and like try a base card, okay? I just think that it will give you so much more insight into, you know, actually what you should expect from a top-end card coming from a 60 class card. Like, when I started testing these cards, I was like blown away. I'm sitting here, I'm on 3440 by 1440p when I was reviewing the 9060 XT, and I'm just like, everything I'm throwing at it, like, it's playable and it feels good and I'm having a good time playing these games. And so I get to a point where it's like, all right, do I really need a 9070 freaking XT? Do I really need a 5070 Ti to enjoy PC gaming? And I keep coming back. I mean, like last generation, I told everybody, look, get a 7800 XT. I think you will be satisfied with that card. And now here I am on a 60 class card. And I'm still feeling really good about that. I mean, I really do believe that, and this is honest, man. Like, I do believe that if I had to switch down, you know, not even switch down, just like start using, I honestly do believe that if I just kept turning on the 9060 XT every day, I think I would have a satisfactory gaming experience every time. Like, I feel like it would be good. I had no problems playing Battlefield on it. I had no problems playing freaking Mind's Eye. I had no problem playing freaking Mafia the old ways. Like, I don't know, guys. Like, I feel like these 60 class cards are pretty good. I really do. I think these are absolutely an incredible GPUs. So look, my main recommendation is the 9060 XT. Like, let's just get that out of the way. Obviously, I think that is probably the best bang for your buck. You've got more than enough power to like move forward. The Intel Arc B580, not a bad card for a backup, for a second build or something. You know, I would look at that more as like, okay, I want to see Intel and I want to get to, you know that and stuff. And I mean, like, if you're willing to buy Intel, I hopefully they keep making these, because I like Arc. I like the architecture. I like the way it feels when I play. I like this GPU. I like the, you know, I do like it. I like Intel's freaking app for the PC and stuff. I do. I would like to see Intel do better. I would. I want to see them build a stronger card. You know, at least in line with AMD and Nvidia's 60 class cards. Like, I want it to compete blow for blow, setting for setting. I want it to compete really good. You know, and be at a, you know, a fair price. That's where I want to see Intel really focus and really drive down. The Intel Arc B580 is an absolutely incredible card, but I want to see them trade blows with Nvidia and AMD in that 60 class segment. I mean, it would be cool if they could do like a 70 class segment too, but I think the 60 class is where Intel really should focus. I really do. Because we are literally getting to a point, like after all this testing for the last few months, we are getting to a point where 60 class GPUs are freaking good. Like they are good. I mean, obviously the next gen consoles are going to come out pretty soon and you're going to see kind of maybe the 60 class cards take a step back or something a little bit. But I feel like we should be pretty close to on par when the next generation of 60 class cards come out. I think they should legitimately be on par with next generation consoles. I think they should be like, yeah, like they should be on par and better. They should be. So I don't know, guys. And if they're better than that, like you're already, I think we're pretty picky, man. I really do think PC gamers are pretty picky because when I look at what these cards can do and the way that the experience feels for me playing the games, yeah, dude, I'm actually pretty excited about them. So, all right, my friends, if you guys like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you found any value in this, please consider joining the Patreon or joining the channel membership. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.